Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. Taking that. Thank you for joining me. This is the Daily Tarot for Thursday. Unbelievable. How fast is time passing? The 29th of October 2020. Already got one out. Now, I'll explain why I took that one so quickly. I was shuffling and shuffling and shuffling, and it kept jumping out. It jumped out again. It wants to come out. So, I hope you're well. Just going to shuffle a little bit more one last. Okay, good. Okay, Major Arcana reading. Okay. Right. Star in the reverse. This was not the one that wanted to jump out. I'm going to come to that one last. Star in the reverse. The Wheel of Fortune. The Empress in the reverse. Moon in the reverse. First one out, the Jumper. Temperance. So, right, the overall energy, Wheel of Fortune. Now, whether the Wheel of Fortune is in the upright or in the reverse is kind of neither here nor there, really, because it's a wheel. So you can never really tell. It doesn't have a right way up and a wrong way up. Fortunes rise, fortunes fall, and we are all subject to that ebb and flow. And it can happen quickly, it can happen slowly. You can get a run of bad fortune followed by an absolute injection of good fortune, and the other way around. You know, it's just, it is what it is, to coin a phrase. However, I'm getting a feeling like there is a balancing out of things here, and good thing too. Good thing too. And there's a kind of drawing in to the self of the flow of good and not so good fortune here. The flow being the supernatural liquid there, the water of life being poured from one vessel to another in this very peaceful time out. I'm just going to sit on the sofa and play with the Rubik's Cube and have a little think kind of way. Do you remember Rubik's Cube? Anyway, good thing too, because there is a fair amount of discombobulation on the table. Star in reverse, Empress in the reverse. So perhaps a feeling of I'm going to say pessimism, okay? Pessimism, and really mistaken. I mean, pessimism is always a mistake, always a mistake. It's a mindset. People say, you know, is your glass half empty or is your glass half full? For me, it's neither. It's just half a glass of water. It's not half empty. It's not half full. It's just half a glass of water. And that perhaps is the message here from Temperance, because when she's pouring like that, it never stops. You see, the moment she stops, the flow stops. But while the flow is going, where is the beginning and where is the end? This is a kind of major arcana version of the Two of Pentacles. It's just this endless like movement this way and that. And we have movement this way and that with the Wheel of Fortune. The difference being, of course, with the Wheel of Fortune, it's only going in one direction. Whichever way up it is, that wheel only turns in one direction. And we see in this depiction very clearly that there is one direction here with that pulling of the vapour from the incense burner up over the wheel. I guess kind of attracting that creature that is trying to get to the top. But then again, it strikes me for the very first time that it might be the attempts of that creature, that kind of pulling on that wheel that is actually making it turn round or help it keep turning. It's the wheel of karma, really. Karma being action. Can you hear the cat? Cat impressions. I'm going to give him some food in a minute. This creature here is kind of like us. It's our lower selves, our craving and our aversion, our movement towards and our movement away from things. That creates the karma. That is the karma. Of course, it's not only that is making the wheel turn, because we can see here there is actually a kind of turny handle thing off picture here. Who's turning that handle? Is it God? So it's like a combination of the unseen hand cranking that wheel in a never-ending motion and the actions of the individual running towards and running away from things that creates the good fortune and the not so good fortune. So there's a lot of movement, funnily enough, on the table. And the two jugs here in the star, the two vessels here, jugs, excuse me, it's 4 jugs on that card. The two vessels here that she is pouring this same liquid, you see, it's the same stuff, into the sauce with such abandon. With the more I have, the more I give, the more I have. That's the kind of promise of the star. Here it's in the reverse, so there's a holding back here. There's also a holding back in this. It's not time yet for seeds to sprout. I mean, in the Northern Hemisphere, we know that we're just coming into, we're into autumn. But this clearly is in the on the karmic level. It's not time for the karmic seeds to sprout yet. Things are afoot. Moon in reverse. There's a spillage coming. There's a spillage coming. And there's no spillage here. It could be said that there's spillage here, okay, in the star in reverse, but I'm not seeing this in terms of spilling. This is hope. It's just held back. It's held back. There's retention in this. And it's very quiet. It's very stable. It's like the last bit of the in-breath, okay? In pranayama, which I practice quite frequently, well, sort of every day really with the meditation, but sometimes the actual exercises of pranayama with the alternate nostril breathing and various other techniques that I've learned over the years, you get very attuned to what is happening with the breath, and you have the inhalation that fills and fills and fills, and you get to that point and then it just stops, and there's this moment of stasis before the exhalation starts, and you get empty, 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 empty. Stop. And the good yogis, the good teachers, are the ones who will tell you that that point of it's got a name. Rachak Kumbhak. I'm just trying to remember it. Yeah, it's the Kumbhak Kumbhaka, not comeback. I don't know. The Kumbhaka is the stoppage on full and the stoppage on empty. Those are the points to look into in meditation when you're working with breath. There's a real feeling of that on the table here today. And what we're waiting for is this that's going to come out on Saturday, on this full moon on the 31st. I'll tell you, they are saying, the astrologers are saying, this is just unprecedented, the astrology of it, because Uranus is absolutely like looking the whole thing in the eye, planet of revolution, sudden change. It's going to be a biggie. So there's this kind of waiting, this way or that way, just it's not time for this to sprout yet, but it's soon. It's soon. Yeah. Judgment. Now, I pulled that in a way that I don't normally pull. Normally I just shuffle, and then pull them off the top. That time I went in to find this. Judgment. What's coming with this? And this is why the Wheel of Fortune is sitting in the middle of this reading, because everything is going to hinge on this outspill, this in the UK, we have in many towns, especially the older ones, we have a Victorian constructed sewer system. It might get a bit disgusting. And in these old sewers, they take a lot of maintenance, these old sewers. I mean, they're wonderful, all built sort of 150 years ago. And take a lot of maintenance. And you get these things called fatbergs. Right? And near where I live, there's this really posh, shishi little coastal town near where I live. It's really expensive, and all the rich oldies live there. I'm going to move there soon. And they were having some trouble with their sewerage, with the sewer system in the whole town. And so they went down into the main sewer that runs along this very beautiful Victorian promenade on the south coast, and found the biggest fatberg ever found in the whole of England. This huge thing as big as this room, and anyway, that's what's coming out like a fatberg out the sewers. All this stuff that's been building up for flipping decades, especially the last decade, especially the last few years. Crunch point, judgment. And that's why everything is holding its breath. Everything's holding its breath. It's so quiet. It's so quiet. There's an in-breath happening. She's breathing in. The angel of judgment is taking her big inhalation. We're all gonna hear it. Right, I'm going to leave it there. We've had pranayama, we've had karma, we've had the angel of judgment, and we've had fatbergs in the sewers. So I think it's time for me to go. Thank you so much for watching, and please do click on another one again sometime. And all best to you, and namaste.